Hey guys, and welcome back to part 2 of the Range Rover build. And as you guys can already tell, the engine is already in the car, and I'm gonna show you which problems we had and how we managed to solve all these issues. And yeah, don't wonder, I switched to a new camera and the next video sequence will be filmed on the old camera, and the sound and the quality might be different. But yeah, so let's go. So last time we had the issue with the oil pickup tube where it was too short. That's the original one from the 3 series, and as you can see, I've cut some things out so it will fit in the oil pan of the Range Rover. And also I've cut the original oil pickup tube from the Range Rover, and it fits really nicely in there, so I used a little bit of glue and glued them together, and now it's the perfect length. It fits perfect inside here, and also you can mount it on the engine now. And the other problem that we had is we had to custom made the engine mounts, because the bolt pattern on the engine is different than on the stock engine from the Range Rover. And also then we had to cut this engine mount in here so the actuator for the turbo has enough space, and it's still a very tight fit. But you can get a turbo from an X series car, I guess, and then the actuator is on the hot side of the turbo, and it will make the swap way easier. So that's where we're at right now. And now we're gonna put in the pickup tube, get the oil pan on the engine. And yeah, also some people asked about the gearbox situation. So I've got the gearbox from an X3, BMW X3 3.0 SD. That's like the same engine as in a E90 335 diesel, and that's an ZF 6-speed. But the thing is, it's with a shift cable. That's important, so you don't need to change the shift linkage inside the car. And on this gearbox they're both on like this adapter, and then we can use the stock transfer case from the Range Rover. And yeah, now we need to put the oil pan on, get the turbo mounted correctly, because we just test fitted it because of the engine mount. I've had to cut a lot of there. And yeah, so let's go to work. And I'm sorry, I know a lot of you guys asked for an update of the Range Rover, but right now I'm moving to Croatia, and I have to move all my stuff, all the cars from Germany to Croatia, because yeah, and it's just so much stuff to do. And the Range Rover will be finished this year, and my plan is to finish the car in the next few months. So it's a long way to go. And yeah, so let me show you the stuff on the car. So as you guys can tell, engine, gearbox, transfer cases, everything is mounted into the car. And now I do have to connect the fuel lines. I've thrown out the stock fuel cooler, because I don't need that anymore. And on the Range Rover we have 2 return lines, I think, because I think in the fuel cooler was a thermostat, and it either choose one of the 2 lines. So if the cooler was active, then it would go to one line, and if it wasn't active, it would go to the other line. The blue line is the fuel feed, and the fuel feed will go down to the filter from the 3 series. It's down there. I mounted it down there, and after the filter it will go straight into the engine. And for the fuel return, I've got this Y piece, which basically mounts to the stock fuel return, and then it splits into two, and both lines will be used all the time. So that's one thing. Also, we need to put on some coolant lines. That's no big deal. Yeah, the main struggle I have right now is I broke this piece of the cooler for the transmission oil. Now I need to order a new one. That will be arriving soon. And yeah, the electrical stuff. We do need to connect all the electrical stuff in the car. So that's the complete wiring loom of the 3 Series BMW. Don't know where I put the ECU yet, but doesn't matter. So one plug goes straight into the ECU, and the other one, yeah, the other one was on the car of the 3 Series. I cut it out. Give me a second. It doesn't matter. Like the other plug goes in the car. There it is. See, that's the other plug from the ECU. This goes in the ECU, and we need to connect some of these wires with the loom of the car, which is this one. Shouldn't be a big deal. And yeah, that's what my plans are today. And maybe we can get a crank. The engine, of course, will not start because the immobilizer from the ECU isn't removed, which means if we get a crank, that's good enough for now. Then I need to remove the immobilizer out of the ECU, and then the engine should start. But yeah, we will see. Also, what you need to do is you need to make a custom bracket for the gear linkage. Oh, it's on the other side. Give me a second. Because the shift cable is a little bit too long, and you need to make a custom bracket because the other bracket from the old gearbox won't fit. So there is the shift cable, and as you guys can see, there is the shift arm from the gearbox, and on these bolts there need to be a bracket that holds the shift cable, and then we can bolt the shift cable into the arm here. And that's also one thing I need to do. Otherwise, like, the whole gearbox and everything is connected into the car. Drive shafts, everything fits straight up. That was really nice. And on this side I broke on the axle, what's it called, the axle booth, the rubber thing on the axle. I need to order a new one, this one. Yeah. And then I can put the suspension back together on this side and put the axle back in. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do, but we're getting there. So to get the cables done, I opened up these wiring diagrams. Yeah, I opened up these wiring diagrams, and there you can see which cable was in the old ECU, and basically I also have the wiring diagrams for the new ECU, and most of the cables, even the colors, are the same, so it shouldn't be a big deal. And I think you only need around 5 or 6 cables for the new ECU, like can high, can low. You need the pedal, the gas pedal signals. That alone is, I think, 6 cables. We'll see. Yeah, I think that's the gas pedal. this, and you have like these 6 cables here. And yeah, so stop talking around, let's go to work. Let's make these wires, and yeah, don't judge the bad wrap. I thought it was a good idea to wrap the car, but now I removed all the wrap and the car looks like shit now. But the paint was in bad condition anyway, so yeah, let's go to work. So what we want to do now is we want to disassemble these connectors. That's the connector which goes into the engine management ECU, and that's the connector, the blue one is for the transmission ECU. For now I don't know yet where these wires need to go, but I will find out, because the new transmission has its own ECU and it's built into the transmission, and which means the transmission has no separate loom, it goes all through this engine loom. So there is a high chance that these wires will also need to connect to this plug of the engine ECU, but I'm not sure yet, so we worry about it later. So for now, to disassemble these, it's pretty easy. You have, let me show you, have these clips here, and what you want to do is just take a small screwdriver or your fingernail, push it back, and then you can pull these out. And then you have the pins right here. And what you want to do is you take a small screwdriver, push here in, and then you can pull the pins out. And if you're lucky enough, these pins will fit straight into these pins, but I'm not sure. They may or may not fit. If they not fit, it's no big deal. We just cut the wires and solder it straight to these ones, I guess. Yeah, that's awesome. Transmission. Blue is always used for transmission stuff as far as I know in BMW, so maybe that's also, maybe this connector will need to connect to these, but I'm not sure. Then this one I'm not sure, and this one is I think for the starter, but also we'll see. It's a lot of, okay. Let's start with the easy stuff like these pins for the engine ECU. That should be easy. So basically I have no idea, but we will figure it out. Oh look, this maybe goes into, where was it? This one? Yeah, sure. Yeah, these go all together here. Like this one goes into this. See, problem solved. It's a long time ago I pulled the engine out of the 3 Series, so good. That's already 3 connectors less to worry about. But that again means all we have to do is just these cables, and not all of them are needed. So the brown ones obviously are for ground, so I think you can just put them all together and put a big ground piece. I don't know what's called, like you put them together and put these things that you can bullet on ground. Then these should be, I think red blue or red purple in this case is for ignition on, like plus with ignition on. Okay, and then we have these two down here. One is ground, obviously the black one, and the red one goes straight up to the plus terminal. Also no big deal. Yeah, let's go to work. Let's put these wires together. Alright guys, as you can see, I've got this far. I've labeled like every connection, what it is. For example, this is the ground for the accelerator pedal sensor, and it's quite a few more cables than I thought. So that's everything I've connected already, and there's a few left to go. And also with the power source, there is also a few cables left, but that's it for today because it's already getting late and I need to get back home. But yeah, and it's quite a lot of cables. But one thing I can recommend is the website House of Torque. There they have really good tutorials how to wire the M57 engine, and also they have for different variations of this engine like tutorials how to wire everything in. I really can recommend this site, otherwise I just used wiring diagrams like from Range Rover, and I have one pinout plan for the E90, and also I have this wiring diagram. And also this website I also can recommend. It's standalone, focus here, standalone engine swaps, wiring pinouts, whatever. There you can see a lot of different engines and wiring pinouts for the ECUs.